Hello, everybody. It's Lord Magicus. You know what? Here, we'll do this. Yeah. All right. We got a special background for today, as we are playing Burn in Modern. So you can see we're all about fire and flames today, baby. So, yeah, if you are watching the replay of this on YouTube, do me a favor and click the like button. I would really, really appreciate that. And I will read all the comments and try to respond to them because I always I care very much about making sure that you're seen and heard. So, yeah, so we're gonna run with some lightning bolts today. I know that surprisingly, way more of you than I thought are into Burn as like your second deck. So I enjoy Burn. I have it as my second paper deck, and I play it every once in a while. So yeah, it's a fun deck. It's easy to start off with, but it takes a lot of practice to get like really good with it. Something like the first 85% of this deck is usually pretty easy to grasp, but the last 15% takes a lot of practice. So yeah, we're running with this today. Yeah, we have a pretty stock list here. I just pulled one off of MTG top 8 now. Picked one of the decks that did well on a recent event, so yeah, there's no real surprises here. It has 5 Horizon lands, 3 basics. You have our regular suite of 12 creatures. And the flex slots here, I think they have, there's 2 Lightning Helix and 2 Skullcrack. So sometimes those numbers get mixed up a little bit. But yeah, I think overall it's like that. This is about as stock a main deck as you're gonna get, and the sideboard is pretty stock too. So I do think, and I've been thinking about this a little bit. Like there might be room to experiment with copies of like Eidolon or Searing Blaze. Historically in Modern, those cards have been very good together because usually if one of them is bad in a matchup, the other one is very good. Um, or like maybe if Searing Blaze is bad, it might be because it's like a control deck that's trying to cast a lot of cantrips, or it might be that Eidolon is not very good in combat here, but Searing Blaze is fantastic against the creature deck. So that can often be the case, or the same thing with like a combo where Searing Blaze doesn't have a lot of targets against a deck like Storm, but Eidolon is fantastic against it, and like against a deck like Hammer Time, maybe Eidolon is not that great, but Searing Blaze will be really good. So there's that element to it. But one of the things that has kind of changed in Modern over the last like few months, yeah, there's a lot of cards now that kind of dodge Eidolon's restrictions. So you have more stuff like Solitude and Fury and Leyline Binding that are like 0/1, or like Fire and Ice, which is like 2. Um, just as an example, like the mana cost in them looks, it's actually larger than the amount of mana actually being spent to play it. So now, Fire and Ice, even though they're paying 2 for it, like that'll still trigger off Eidolon, but stuff like Solitude or Leyline Binding actually doesn't. So I can imagine that there's a lot of scenarios where like Eidolon's not terribly great against it. And like again, a lot of the decks like, the Rhino deck, or like Living End and Elementals, like Searing Blaze is not particularly amazing against them. So it, it's tough because there's still like there are definitely still like decks where both of those cards are really good, but and I'm not sure that I would necessarily would change it, but I have thought about it at least, like reevaluating, like okay, are those both still definitely 4-ofs? And I think even if the answer is yes, like you should still at least ask the question every now and then, because so maybe at some point you'll realize like maybe you want a copy or 2 in the sideboard instead, and you want to play something else. So I think those sort of things are worth thinking about, and we've learned this with Merfolk, with Silvergill Adept, that just because the deck plays the card and it has for a long time does not necessarily mean that it is correct to be playing the card. So every so often I do look at stuff like that and it's like, okay, well, maybe things are actually moving in a direction where some of the cards are not as great. So like, I think Eidolon definitely is like a card that could fall into that category, especially if we see more stuff like Leyline Binding. So, you know, his in the past, like, if you're gonna remove it, you'd have to like play like Path to Exile or something, so they'd still have to take the damage at least to get rid of it. But if they don't have to take the damage, it's a lot worse to have stuff like that. Or even stuff like, I don't know, Force of Vigor, like exiling it would be terrible. So I don't know. Yeah, but no, they'd still take the damage off Force. It's just they don't off of Leyline Binding, so that's kind of what made me think of it. It's like stuff like that. It's like, has anything like changed enough to make me reconsider it? So I don't know. They're just random thoughts, but like, I feel like those sort of things are important to think about. Like, yeah, because like I said, even if you're not going to change your mind, you should at least like, when you're looking at deck construction, those are things you should absolutely like consider. So anyway, I didn't build this list though. I just took it from like what's been played, and you know, like this is a, you know, like almost every Burn player is going to have a 75 that looks very similar to this. It's like plus or minus like 5 cards, and most of them are in the sideboard. So speaking of the sideboard, let's look at it here. Some of the classics here. Roiling Vortex, you definitely are going to see a lot of this card. It punishes free spells, and it also turns off life gain. So you definitely want this card against decks that are playing stuff like Solitude. Also against like Omnath, because it stops them from gaining the life, which is really important. And it does deal some damage over time. I think it's probably a lot better than a card like Eidolon in those matches. So yeah, it's important. If your opponent is trying to cheat and play spells that are, you know, like the elementals that are free, then this is definitely a great card to have in. It's also really good to bring in if you know you're going up against deck, yeah, like anything that's going to gain a bunch of life, it's probably fine against. So we have 2 Skullcracks in the main, but having extra ways to turn off life gain is pretty important for Burn. So this is a way that can kind of hedge against like both kind of things here. So stops like the free spells, but also stops life gain, and you know, it deals damage, which is nice. Sort of like Modern's version of Sulfuric Vortex. Deflecting Palm. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff this card is like really good against. Anytime that like you're like, especially like Hammer Time, they're going for like a super big attack. Like, I'm going to attack you for 10. Well, I'm just going to Deflecting Palm it to your face. So, and the important thing is this doesn't target. So if Hammers goes like all in on like a hammer attack to you, and you Deflecting Palm it, they will like just take a bajillion damage. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Path to Exile. If you're ever up against like the Mirror, you absolutely are going to need this card, because your Burn opponent is almost definitely going to be bringing in either Core Firewalker or this other guy here, Sanctifier and en-Vec. And I think more of the Burn list probably lean in the Sanctifier direction these days because of like the Rakdos scam deck, because this is actually really good against them, since it turns off like if you can get to a point where like this resolves in like turn 2, if they don't like grief it out of your hand, if they just go for like, you know, turn 1 like Ragavan, or try to put Fury in play in turn 1, you know, giving you a chance to play Sanctifier is going to make it really hard for them to actually like come back then, because at that point you can just kill off like the creature they played with like with a bolt, and they have very little to like possibly nothing that's going to get rid of this. And it turns off like their primary plan of like, you know, putting the grief or the fury into play and then trying to Malakir rebirth it or something like that. So yeah, it's gonna exile it. It also it deals with like Kroxa, or there's a couple other cards like that that are kind of a plan B for that deck. You know, being able to just have like basically complete protection from it is just amazing. So yeah, a lot of decks this is great against. Obviously, it's really good in the Mirror because it has pro red, so can either be an amazing blocker for like Swiftspear, or like an untargetable, unblockable 2 damage every turn. So this card, we're not, yeah, the Burn deck doesn't want to play stuff like Rest in Peace, but This sort of does the same thing against a lot of this decks. Like, even against like Dredge, this card's still really good because it turns off a lot of the important dredging cards. No Dark Blast, no Golgari, Thug. They don't get the Conflagurate in the sideboard. They don't get their Prized Amalgams or Bloodghast. Like, most, yeah, like almost everything that they end up putting in the graveyard is like Life from the Loam, which is pretty terrible by itself. So they have very few ways to like actually win once this is out. So if you can get it out before they get a board state, like, you know, it's really, really good against the Dredge deck. Yeah, and most of, like I said, most of the things that you care about in the graveyard are probably going to be black or red anyway, so it's helpful. And yeah, this card I think is fairly expensive the last time I checked. You know, good old Modern Horizons 2 card. It's pretty powerful, I think. I actually probably need to buy like 2 more of them because I think I only have 1. Yeah, then we have Smash to Smithereens. Like, you know, we see this card before. Just something good to bring in against Hammer or Urza Saga decks. Similarly, we have Wear and Tear, which is another card you definitely want against like Urza Saga decks or like Hammer Time. Blowing up a Hammer and a Sigarda's Aid is the dream. So, and you can do, yeah, you can do what is it, Fuse? Yeah, you can fuse it together. So for 3 mana, blow up like 2 important things of theirs. Sounds great to me. And also, you can bring it in against anything that you believe is going to side in Leyline of Sanctity against you, which is nice. So Tear is great at dealing with that. The Wear is also, it's helpful against like Chalice of the Void too, because a lot of decks will try to put it on 1, so it turns off like half of your deck. You know, you have Goblin Guide, your Swiftspear, Bolt, Lava Spike. So getting it on 2 usually takes a lot longer, and you can unload your hand by that point, so it's not as effective. But you know, it's nice to be, you know, have some utility here. So even though Wear and Tear doesn't deal damage, it has enough flexibility where it's usually like a consideration for sideboard slots. And this, it looks like this person split the set of them. So 2 Smash, so 2 cards that destroy stuff and deal damage, along with 2 Wear and Tears to clean up other stuff. So I think it's fine. Also worth noting, Wear and Tear can blow up Urza Saga because it is an enchantment. So keep that in mind. It can blow up a Hammer and an Urza Saga, so they don't get another Hammer to replace it. And then, yeah, it gets rounded out here with just 1 copy of Exquisite Firecraft. I mean, this is probably really good to bring in against the Murktide deck, because their counterspells are totally useless against it. So, yeah, it's, I think, just overall, like, pretty stocky list here, but this is what Burn in Modern looks like these days. So, now, I haven't played it in a while, but we'll see how it is. I'm not exactly sure how it fares in the metagame today, but I guess we're going to find out. So this has been a while since we played it. All right, let's get into our game here. And I think, yeah, normally we're like streaming on Thursday, but my schedule is going to be a little bit weird this week, so it was easier to do it on Wednesday. So all right, anytime now. I would like to be able to play soon. That'd be nice. There we go. Now it's time to set the world on fire. All right. Aggro gets to be on the play. Hand is actually kind of slow. We have something to do on turn 1. I mean, probably just play Eidolons and then hope that's fine. Like, it's not amazing, but I guess I'm gonna keep it. And I'm not gonna play the fetch land here because I might draw like oh, they mulled a 5. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm not playing a fetch land here because I might draw like Inspiring Vantage, so if I do, I don't want to have to lose a life I don't need to, so we just start here and we just suspend this. And if we're lucky, this is going to be a match where just casting 2 Eidolons is going to be very powerful. Bloodstained Mire? Oh god. Alright. So, what the fuck? Is this like creativity, maybe? Haggle. Oh god, is this Dredge? Oh, this is Dredge. Okay, well. I don't know how effective Eidolon's gonna be. I don't think Dredge is actually that bad of a match. Okay, this needs to get out of my face here. We drew another land, of course. Well, we need to get this in play before they get blockers, hopefully. I think we have a really good sideboard card against them because their primary ways of interacting with sideboard stuff are like Force of Vigor and like Dark Blast, so they don't really have a whole lot of ways to deal with that guy. So if we can get it out on turn 2 and they don't have a board by then. The Creeping Chill sucks, though. That's a thing. Alright. Okay, so let's... This is... yeah, we have to... We may as well get the Sacred Foundry now because we have to fetch here, so... We're going to cast this Boros Charm at some point. So we may as well take the damage here. I think I want them to take as much damage as possible from their own spells, so I want to cast this other Eidolon before they cast any more like Cathartic Reunions. So that will help. Because that's going to limit the number of spells they can successfully cast here, hopefully. We can cast 2 more spells. Assuming if they hit a Creeping Chill, we can cast 1 more spell. But hopefully, like... Alright, I mean, this... fuck. Well, the Ox escaping wasn't great. But, what are you going to do? They found another Creeping Chill and some Narcomoebas, so that's fucking terrible. Well... I don't know that there is a whole lot we can do about that. Them hitting Creeping Chill is just not great. Yeah, they're going to have a bajillion creatures here, so... We are at 7. That was not really the card that was going to help us here. I think we are just dead. So what happens here if I attack them? I'm going to deal them like 10 damage maximum, and they're definitely going to kill me in the attack, so yeah, I think we actually are just dead. Yeah, it's only 6+4. Like, there's no... Like, if there was a possibility, like, if they didn't hit Creeping Chill, like, maybe they wouldn't block these, and then that would be fine, but... Also, drawing... Yeah, like, drawing a land there was also devastating. Like, potentially, if we had drawn, like, I don't know, Searing Blaze or something, that could have helped. Okay, well, Sanctifier en-Vec is where we need to be here, and... What do we not want? Probably... It's hard to say. Like, these 3 are definitely cards that we want. Roiling Vortex is also possibly something we would consider. Okay, but what do I want to take out for this? Like, they do have a lot of creatures that, like, Searing Blaze can hit, and that helps push these through. But it's, I don't know, maybe, like, they're not that amazing. Like, I can kill Narcomoebas with them, I guess. But they're not, like, it's not guaranteed that they're going to have them in play. Like, I don't know. I guess the sequencing on this is just really weird sometimes. Like, their creatures enter the battlefield tapped. Maybe Eidolon's the one that's supposed to go. They do cast, like, draw spells that it does tax them on, but maybe Eidolon is, like, too slow for us. You know what, I'm gonna go this route and try this. Yeah, I'd like to play. This is gonna be nice and fast, I think. Oh god, they started with fucking gemstone caverns. That's great. Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. They put a card on top of their deck. Well, I probably want to play the Swiftspear and suspend this next turn, so I may as well play Goblin Guide. They revealed Scalding Tarn. So, like, I knew there was a chance that they might have scryed a land on top just thinking that we might have Guide. So, like, there was maybe some consideration to play Swiftspear. But I think it still probably works better for us. Oh, fuck, they have this thing. Like, yeah, mana-wise, like, I don't want to play this Swiftspear here. Because, like, I can't trigger it next turn, so it's kind of bad. There's Narcomoeba, which is not great. Creeping shit. Oh god, like, they're so far ahead because of the stupid gemstone caverns. This Silver Smoke Ghoul is also, like, a huge pain in the ass. I feel great that we kept Searing Blaze, but, like, this was not exactly how I expected their turn 1 to be. Like, that's crazy. I would love to pay 2 life here. And I think I have to just... This is terrible, but I have to just play, like, Swiftspear. And just attack. If they draw Mana Confluence, which, you know, they get a free land here. Alright, well, we're probably not winning this. I think drawing our... Yeah, we don't have our thing here yet. Oh, fuck. You know what? I fetched out this fucking mountain, didn't I? That was a complete blunder on my part, because I could have potentially drawn the creature, and I forgot I need double white for that, so that's hugely terrible. That's on me, because that's how I haven't played in a while. It's alright, though, because, like, I don't think that even if we found it, that at this point, like, even if we cast it on turn 2, it might have actually just been too late for it to matter here. Because I think we're, like, they have gained, like, 6 life here already. They also have the Silver Smote, you know, which is just, it's really, it's cool. They can sacrifice it to do more dredges. I think we're fucked here. Alright. We cannot possibly come back from this. Not a great way to start off, but, yeah, the deck that starts... See, like, the thing is that they had Gemstone Cavern, so they were able to do that really quickly. Like, sometimes, like, if the burn deck can get out, like, the Sanctifier really early, like, it can just devastate them. But if they can go underneath, like, your 2-drop, like, yeah, that's great. So, I don't know, maybe... Is that, like, bad enough where we're supposed to mulligan to it? I don't feel like we are, but that could be. So... But I definitely should have got, like, another Sacred Foundry, so if I actually drew it, I could have cast it. I don't really like the... I don't know if I want to keep this. I have one land in my hand, and it's going to deal us a bajillion damage. Alright, well, we are on... We're on the draw here, so we'll try it. There is a lot of gas in this hand. Okay, it looks like, yeah, we're up against maybe the Omnath deck. Alright. Expressive Iteration on top. Okay, well. I guess we just attack first. They might have Leyline Binding. Alright, well, we get to cast this with Spectacle, so we should do that. If we find the second land, we're, like, in pretty good shape, because we have a bajillion damage to deal to them, but... They just like, Dryad? Okay. That's not usually a good sign. Are we up against, like, a Titan deck or something? Ooh, I feel like the correct thing to do here is attack with a Goblin Guide and keep up this Lightning Bolt, because if they block, I probably do need to kill this thing. It is very possible we're going to get, like, Valakutted. Drawing a land here would have been amazing, because then Searing Blaze would have been online. Like, I could play the Swiftspear, still have Bolt up, and then, like, attack. I think I have to attack with a Goblin Guide. I don't have any good way of, like, dealing with this if they are just gonna, like, Valakut me, though. Another Dryad on top, that's usually bad for us. I'm not happy to do that, especially because they have another one. Yeah, of course they're gonna play another. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it does not look good. Dryad is very dangerous, and with only one land, I don't think like we're close enough where we can actually go after them. Like if they were at like a single digit health, then like bolting them instead of the Dryad, I think makes a lot more sense. But we are pretty far away from that right now. So alright, so they cast Iteration here, hoping to hit a land, I guess. They found Breeding Pool, so that's going to work. So they get another Dryad here. Fuck. Alright, well, I guess this is just happening. Just stuck on one. And we might actually just be dead this turn. Like, it's possible. We don't know what's going on. It could be, like, Scape Shift here or something. Alright, well. Windswept Heath. Oh, they have Stomping Ground here? Alright. That can't be good. Omnath. I think, yeah, we're just, like, lost against this. We like, literally can't beat this at this point. This is way too much. However, it might be helpful to us to know exactly, what the rest of their deck looks like, so probably giving up here. Despite the fact that we're, like, completely lost in this board state, like... I mean, I guess we can kill the Omnath, but, I don't know how much it's gonna matter. Like, I kinda have to target Omnath with this. They've gained, like, so much life off of this. It's terrible. Like, there's also a very high chance they just have another one, too. Teferi. Alright, I mean, Teferi is not super relevant. I'm not... I'm still not exactly sure what we're doing with Dryad. Like, this part's not clear to me. But they do... It's clear they have, like, a bajillion mana, so... I don't think that Dryad's attacking. That doesn't seem likely. Or you know what? I guess it could. Whatever. They don't care. I guess the only thing... I guess we should play Swiftspear and bolt them. I have to do it now to get my prowess trigger. I could have Solitude here. Leyline Binding, yeah, that'll work. Getting stuck on mana that early was just devastating. Like, we needed to unload our hand a lot faster than this. That is the risk of playing burn sometimes, though. Is like you have to take chances like that. Alright, what are we doing here? 5 colors of mana. What the fuck are we doing with all this? Bring to light. Okay, so it is like Scape Shift. Alright. I don't think that I would have told me this. It doesn't seem like that was a great move here. Yeah, I'd believe you. Alright. Yeah, that doesn't seem like that was necessary at all, but sure, why not? Alright, Searing Blaze is probably really bad in this matchup. And I suspect that Eidolon's probably not that great either. Deflecting Palm is not going to protect us against them. Maybe Vortex is fine because of, like, Omnath. Firecraft is probably good because there's a high chance that they do have counter spells. Is there anything else here I want to like? I guess Wear and Tear can kill off Dryad, but I don't know how much I don't know. I don't know if I need to be worried about Dryad like that much with this or not. I might need to be. I guess I can also blow up Leyline Binding. Are they also? Oh, they probably have like there's a high chance they probably have like Leyline of Sanctity, or they could. So yeah, it's probably safe to bring it in. What do I want to take out here? Maybe Eidolon. It's like a little bit slow. All right. This is how our night's going, I guess. Yeah, we have to... It's actually not, like, that great, but we do have to keep it. We have 4 burn spells and 2 lands, so, like... I would prefer to have a creature, but, you know, we can't have everything. There's no... We don't need it double white for anything, so I can just fetch for a mountain here. May as well wait until their upkeep to do this. So they can't, like, force of negate it. We'll get our Vortex out. Yep, there's Grazer. Well, I mean, that kind of sucks, but especially drawing Goblin Guide right now. Alright, we gotta get this thing out. It will deal the most amount of damage over time. Leyline Binding, of course. I guess I may as well Helix this thing now. Because I'm definitely... I want to attack with the Goblin Guide. So it's not going great. This could be way better. Okay, so there's Valakut. Renin 6 gets back the Windswept Teeth. Surprised they didn't, like... I don't know, maybe they need this here. It's not terrible. I think I'm supposed to just play Vortex and hold it up. Go after their face. Scape Shift on top is not really a good sign. However, we do have Lightning Bolt here, so... I don't know. Maybe if they're they're closer to dead than they probably are comfortable with. Like, we're like 1 or 2 draws away from just killing them, so... They play Omnath here. I don't think they had... No, if they had Omnath, I think they would have played it first before playing the land. Why would they do this like this? Why would you play the land before this? I guess they can crack it on my turn. So the second time, well, this is the end step, so I don't think that they have, like, they can't do anything with 4 mana. So I think I should just bolt them here. Not bad. It does mean... Well, no, if they try to gain life now, I'm just going to activate Vortex in response. That's the thing. They're not going to crack this Windswept Heath, but... Okay, here, I just Helix them, right? And then they're dead? Because this is going to deal the damage to kill them. Hopefully. Yeah, so this is why. No, well, if they fetch, we just activate it in response. See, that's why we waited here. Because then they go to 4, and then we Helix them, and then unless they have like a prism or Leyline Binding in their hand right now, I guess they could, if they had basic planes to search for and they had it in their hand. You know, I probably should have let the fetch resolve first to see what land they got before casting the Helix. But I was kind of worried if they got like if they like shocked or something and had like a spell pierce, that Helix wouldn't have resolved. So no, they couldn't have fetched there because no, they screwed up. They played the Windswept Heath before they played Omnath, so it only triggers on the first time they play a land. They already played a land before they played Omnath. Thank you. Yes. Well, if we're playing Burn, we have to have a nice fiery background here, right? So here we go. See, look, it's super cool here. Okay, hold on a second. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong here. Okay, let me see here. Oh, no, you're right. Okay, no, you know what? In that case, you're actually correct here. Then you are right. They probably should have fetched in response because it does wait for. Okay, it's not the first land they play. It's the first time that happens with Omnath in play. All right, so that's my bad, but I guess it's also their bad because they didn't do it. So I guess they assumed they would be able to do it on my turn, but I don't know. That's not how that worked out, I guess. So yeah, you're right. Okay, so do I change anything here? Maybe I want like some of these Searing Blazes. I think if I don't know, it's feel like this we're supposed to have the Skullcrack. All right, we'll do it like this. Get rid of Rift Bolt because they have Teferi. That makes sense. Okay, you know, this is good that we're learning these things because, like I said, it has been a while since I played Burn here, so that's kind of like, you know, it's a little refresher for me too. This hand seems fine. Okay. See, I get to practice with this and learn these interactions more. Cool. I mean, Goblin Guide is definitely going to resolve here. And then hopefully we can just like skewer them. They started with basic island. What does this mean? They have like a fet or a cantrip. No, what? No, that can't possibly be right. Why would they play basic island on turn 1? That doesn't make any sense unless they're holding up Spell Pierce. That has to be that has to be it. Like it has to be Pierce. Well, I'm not going to play into it. Like I have no reason to. Misty Rainforest. Yeah, like there's no way it's not Spell Pierce here, right? It feels like it really needs to be. There is no other reason I can possibly imagine they would play this in turn 1 and not like cast a cantrip. So as soon as they like tap out, I'm gonna hit them with this Boros Charm. Or I might bait it with like Skewer the Critics next turn. If they just play like Teferi here, Dryad, okay. I can actually just blow that up with Tear. Interesting that they didn't like shock themselves for this. Okay, that's good. I mean, they might have like Omnath, but I can't really do anything about that. I guess I should use the Lightning Helix here. It's the most mana efficient thing to do right now while they don't have like a counterspell up. You know, if they play Omnath, I'm kind of in trouble. But if they don't gain any life here, they actually are just gonna die. So they didn't play a fetch land. Okay, so now if they play Omnath, it does not matter at all. They're in 6 life, and we have 6 damage in our hand. Like fetching is also incredibly dangerous because then Goblin Guide plus like Boros Charm threatens to kill them. Or like Goblin Guide plus any Lightning Bolt threatens to kill them, I guess. If you were gonna cast the Wrenn and 6, shouldn't you have, like, did that first? Right. So they have a stomping ground on top. Alright. I guess we're just passing here, because if they have Pierce, they could just cast it, so I want to wait until they tap some more mana. They just gave up. Alright, they have nothing for Goblin Guide. Alright, there we go. We beat Scape Shift. I don't know, like, it felt like their deck was, like, just super all-in, like, and just crushing game 1, but just really fell apart in game 2 and 3 for some reason. Burn does that to some decks sometimes. It just, like, a good burn hand, like, will feel really, really differently than a mediocre one, so. Alright, I love to be on the play. Aggro is on the play. We are up against Kahira the Orphan Guard, so this is probably not a match where Searing Blaze is all that good, I would imagine. A Murdered Carrot, thank you so much. Gifting the sub to Nikachu. Merry Christmas to you too. Okay, so yeah, this is Kahira, so this is probably Elementals. Or, at least some variant of Omnath deck. Which means Goblin Guide is, I don't know, maybe not long for this world. We don't really have a whole lot against it. On the other hand, it could also be something like Belcher, which also Searing Blaze would be really bad against. However, Goblin Guide is fantastic against that deck. I think against either one, though, I'm not really confident in having, like, 3 lands against this. I think I would need to mulligan against Kahira. This isn't a whole lot better, but I guess we're going to keep it. So I guess, yeah, we just play Monastery Swiftspear, and then turn 2, we're going to play Swiftspear, and then, like, probably Lava Spike. Now, as far as I know, Burn doesn't play any spells that are, like, free spells, so F6ing in their turn doesn't really tell them anything. Steam Vents? Okay, this means... interesting. Get a mountain here, play Swiftspear, Lava Spike them. So we could potentially see, maybe Wrenn and 6 this turn. Well, even if we draw a land, we can at least hard cast Skewer. I'm not really pumped to do that, but I will if I have to. And get damage in that way. This looks like Wrenn and 6. Yep, okay. That's expected. Sure. Like this, we are not a deck that is ever, like, attacking this card. Fuck me. Alright. Doing this basically tells them that I don't have a lightning bolt in my hand, so it's a huge sign of weakness, but it is what it is. We have to attack. It is going to put a lot of pressure on their fetch lands, though, because fetching and shocking is just hyper dangerous for them. So really, like, yeah, Boros Charm would be a fantastic draw here. Of course they play a fucking Plains. Naturally. That's just how it is. So I guess Searing Blaze would also be pretty good if they play, like, Risen Reef. Okay. They don't return... Wait, why didn't they return anything? Okay. Interesting. Does this mean that they have Solitude in their hand? Well, I'm not going to cast this Boros Charm just yet. I'm not sure if they have Solitude or something, so I don't know that I don't want to go all in with it just yet. Eladrimy's Call? Okay, that makes sense. They might have Solitude this time. Omnath. Yeah, they're going to play... Okay, so they get Omnath here. That's fine. But if they play the Misty Rainforest to, like, do it, then they're just dead to Boros Charm, so... They have to have, like, another basic land to play this fucking Omnath, or they're dead. Teferi, Time Raveler, I definitely Boros Charm them. And now, basically, no matter what... I guess they could have Solitude here, and if they do, like, it gets rid of Swiftspear, but a burn spell should kill them. Pretty much anything that's not a land. Oh, fuck that. Oh, god damn it. Alright. Well, you know what? No, that actually still works, because now even if they have Solitude, I can kill them with Searing Blaze. Hmm? Oh, no, I can't. I can't do it. Fuck, no, I can't because of Teferi. God damn it. Oh, no! That's right. Teferi kept them alive. I can't Searing Blaze in the middle of combat. Shit. Alright. So we needed to draw, like, literally anything else. Alright, they can play Omnath and then a fetch land, I guess. Which means we now... Are Risen Reef? Okay, no, this is fine, because this is actually something we can blaze. So I'm going to say, if they play Omnath and then the fetch land, then we would have been in a lot better shape here. But now we can actually just Searing Blaze this thing. Does this matter at all? Like, I guess if they have, like, Mana Leak or something, I should do this. Okay, we got there. Cool. Alright, I think we need Roiling Vortex for this. I don't know. Maybe it's not as good as I'm thinking, but they do have, like, free spells, so it seems important. Because their thing is they want to play, like, Solitude and then Ephemerate it. So if they're gonna pitch cast Solitude, I want them to take a bajillion damage. And it's not a whole lot else I think I need to change here. Maybe Eidolon is not that great. I mean, they have, like, bolts and stuff, so actually, maybe Riftbolt again, because they do have Teferi. Riftbolt's pretty bad against that. Exquisite Firecraft might be a little bit better as well, because it's uncounterable and it does deal 4 damage, so it can kill, like, Omnath. I think this is reasonable. We can do this. Them having Risen Reef means that Searing Blaze is not as dead as what it would be normally. We have fucking so many creatures in this hand. I think I have to keep this and just go to Pound Town with these Goblin Guides. All right. Oh, you don't want to shock, huh? Okay. Drawing a land would be absolutely just amazing for us next turn. They draw Windswept Teeth, of course. Isn't that just how Magic always goes? Boros Charm wasn't a terrible pickup, but we're going to need the land for it, obviously, so... Okay, that's great. I think we're just supposed to play 2 Goblin Guides and just go to town. So it's going to be difficult to deal with. Teferi Time Raveler, they should actually fetch in response to one of those, so they have a chance of drawing another land. I guess they could, like, Solitude Ephemerate here. No, they're not going to do that, so... Alright. And on our turn, we might want to play this Roiling Vortex. If we draw a land, Swiftspear into Vortex is actually pretty awesome. If they... Okay, then... Okay, so I guess if Teferi is a thing here... Sure, they can bounce a Goblin Guide. That's not really that big a deal. Solitude could still be a thing, but it can only get rid of one thing. Yeah, I guess I just do this. I'm going to send this one at Teferi, and I'm going to send these 3 at their face. Because them being at 4 is fine, because we have Boros Charm here. Them being at 5 doesn't really make a difference, though, but Teferi being gone could matter at some point in the future, so... So, like, their options for this turn are pretty limited. Like, there's a very high chance that this Boros Charm is just very super lethal. Like, playing Omnath is not enough. I don't know what they can possibly play. Like, even if they played Supreme Verdict, it wouldn't matter. So, there we go. We got there. Look at how different that feels than Merfolk. Merfolk would have just gotten fucking brutalized by that deck. And Burn, we just embarrassed them. It's one of the cool things about all the shock lands in this format is that, yeah, if they're going to play greedy mana bases with, like, Wrenn and 6, they're going to be very vulnerable to, like, lightning bolts. Well, we have another terrible 7, so we have to mulligan for some lands. This is... I guess this is okay. It's not great, but I don't want to go to 5. Okay. We're up against Mana Symbol. I feel like I should know who this person is. I want to say that, like, I follow them. Yeah, I think they stream on Twitch. So... Alright, well, I think we have to keep this and get rid of the Sacred Foundry. Alright, well, we are in the draw this time, so... Let's see what we're up against here. Rift Bolt's not too bad. It's okay, we can use this later. Next turn we might play like Swiftspear, Lava Spike, and then, I don't know, or maybe suspend this thing, who knows. I'm pretty sure I'm still supposed to lead off with Goblin Guide, though. We might see Lightning Bolt and Goblin Guide. That's very, Okay, so if he's getting this card, then that might mean that this is like a creativity deck. Archon of Cruelty. This is 1000% creativity. Which means their mana is also insanely greedy. Which is great, because that means we can punish it. Eidolon. Probably Swiftspear into Lava Spike is the way to go, and then next turn we can play Eidolon, suspend Driftbolt. The other option is we play Swiftspear, suspend Riftbolt, and then next turn play Lava Spike, and then Eidolon. We would lose out on 1 damage this turn to potentially deal an extra damage next turn. That might actually be the way to go, though, because then we can get this Riftbolt off sooner. And that probably matters more. And we'll also take 2 less damage from the Eidolon this way. Alright. Now we might see the Bolt. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I'm not thrilled to see that, but it's okay. Fire. Okay, they're just going to kill Goblin Guide. Sure. Yes. I mean, yeah. Dwarven Mine. Oh, they don't have another thing. That's actually pretty good for us. I would love to cast this Rift Bolt in their face. I don't know, just in case they have like a removal spell, I want them to pay life for it, so. The Eidolon is going to make it harder for them to cast spells, so. We're looking pretty good here. They can't really afford to, like, shock themselves, so. Fable? Yeah, that's going to hurt a lot. Like, at this point, I should just be able to skewer them. Yep, we got there. Okay, so we're up against creativity here. Alright, how do we get away with this? Searing Blaze ranges from being useless to good. I don't know about Skullcrack. Because usually, like, if Archon comes out, that's going to be really bad on its own. Like, we're probably in a lot of trouble at that point. They have the thing, they can give it haste. Maybe we're supposed to take Sanctifier, because it does stop, like... It has protection from everything, and it also turns off the persist part. So this is a consideration for that reason. So they can't discard Archon that way, and they don't really have removal that... no, they could still have, like, Leyline Binding to get rid of this, so... It's not clear that would... But, I mean, it's not useless either, because it does go up after half of it. It's immune to a lot of their removal, so there's that. Searing Blaze is kind of fine because they have stuff like Fable where in the Dwarven Mine, so they do give us some targets for it. I think we're supposed to ditch Skullcrack. And I mean, not, yeah, most of these are like, I don't know, I'm not super worried about it. Do I need to be concerned about Leyline? I don't actually know if they play like a Leyline of Sanctity. They definitely could. So this blows up artifacts. I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think free spells are something we really have to worry about. Maybe we just do this and go from there. once again, we are looking at a no land 7. Like, we have 20 lands in this deck, so it's not... We're not, like, cheating by going, like, 19 or 18 in this. Some burn lists do that sometimes, and that, I think, is a little greedy. But with, I don't know, 20 is, like, should see at least 1 or 2. I think this is fine. Keep this and just put away, like, a Swiftspear. However, this is probably a hand where I do want to lead off with the Sunbaked Canyon, because I might draw the white source to play this in turn 2, and if they're going on the persist plan, then this actually does matter for that. So... Alright. Damage. Skewer is not a super useful card to have drawn here, but it's possible we might just have to play Eidolon in turn 2. Because I don't think playing Swiftspear is going to be great if we don't draw anything. I mean, playing Skewer post-combat is also possibly an option, but I'm not really happy to do that. Playing Eidolon might be slightly better. Okay. Now, Unholy Heat. Okay, well... okay, that actually makes now... This is... So we have some choices here in how we want to sequence this. If I play Swiftspear now, I can Lava Spike them and deal 5 right here. I could also just play Eidolon and then... Still might be better. I don't think our life total is like that important. I think we need to get them to take some damage from casting these spells, because they still have to cast like Fable and stuff like that. So, whereas if they cast Fable here, I can Lava Spike them still, and then maybe Skewer the token. Or if they cast a removal spell in Eidolon, they still have to lose life for it. So. Yeah, it's like Eidolon still dealt them 2 damage and took a card out of their hand, so that there is that. It's not terrible, I guess. We just play our 2 creatures here and attack. Then next turn spike into Skewer. It seems like it follows up pretty well. Expressive Iteration, okay. Yeah, Iteration's not a terrible draw. It's a little bit slow, but it gives them some time to, or yeah, the ability to dig for stuff. Unless they just have creativity here, in which case I could just be fucked. No, Fable, okay. So they have some blockers up now. This is kind of awkward. They're at 12. I think that I'm supposed to just play Goblin Guide and Lava Spike. It's a little bit weird because now Skewer is like really hard to use next turn, but at least we can attack now. So they reveal Leyline Binding, so they can definitely get rid of one of these next turn. And they absolutely do have creativity online, so like they have managed to stall us long enough where it is an option for them. Which it looks like is what's going to happen here, because they're probably just going to creativity into Archon, I assume. And gain some life here. We'll have to sacrifice this and probably discard Sanctifier. Drawing a Bolt is probably not enough. Like if they get Archon here, I think we're just dead. We make a crab first. All right. Because I guess they can double Archon if they go for it. Or maybe they left themselves the dwarf token just so they can hope to find it. Okay. Okay. I guess I want to attack with both of these, right? Let's see what happens here. There is some possibility that Helix could kill them. They do have Leyline Binding, which is still possible. They're just going to cast it right now. They can block with a crab token and binding the other thing. Interesting. Okay, so the dwarf token is going to die. They didn't find creativity, so we're not dead yet. And if they make the mistake of going down too low, sure, bolt. Alright, well, I guess it's a question of are they going to find it here. Iteration, okay. So I'm not, yeah, if they fetch Shock, then Helix does kill them. Otherwise, I will probably just cast Helix at end of turn and just pray that I'm going to draw the land to just cast Skewer. Or a Bolt, I guess. That should work. Alright. I think, yeah, we just have to cast this and hope. What tricks do you have for a... Nothing. Alright, good game. Alright, well, there we go. Beat creativity. Again, the greedy mana base, I think Burn capitalizes on that extra bit of life loss from the fetches and shocks so well. It's great. So... Alright, well, that puts us at 3-1, despite, like, that rough start to the league. Like, we're in the positive, so here we go. Red Mages rejoice. We're making money this league. That's how it should be. Alright. This hand, I think we're supposed to keep this. We don't have a creature, but we do have 2 lands. Yeah, we have the ability to cast everything. So... Oh, wait, I don't have the chat on, do I? Whoopsie, there we go. Chat's here, I'm sorry. How long was that off? Oh, okay, so we're up against Scam. Alright, well, I don't think it's that bad for us. Usually, I don't think Scam is, like, that amazing against this deck. So I guess just suspend Drift Bolt. They didn't use the fetch land, so I guess they didn't have the Undying thing. Or... Oh, is this Living End? Okay, no, it's Living End. Alright. I feel like we probably do okay against the Living End. Their mana is pretty greedy. And, like, Living End doesn't do a whole lot against the burn deck. It's just kind of like, okay, can you race this? I'm pretty sure we're just... Okay, well, we're going to dump Lava Spike plus Skewer, so Lava Spike. I mean, their life was going down really quick, so... Waker Waves, yeah, they have to do this. Eidolon should be pretty good here because it means that they can't. It's going to cost them 4 life to cascade if we cast Eidolon before they can do it. So, I mean, if they want to shock here, that would be really good for us too. Like we're also just 1 bolt away from just straight up murdering them. Well, okay, now we kind of need to draw the bolt. Oh no, never mind. No, because they have grief. They're going to take away one of our cards here. So, now we are actually, I think, just facing down. Not quite lethal yet, right? This is going to be 14 plus. So, yeah, we're not actually dead yet. They could have Force of Negation. But I think we just need them not to have it. I'm pretty sure that the only thing we can do is just bolt them and hope we draw a burn spell. It's also possible they have Violent Outburst, so, I guess I'm gonna wait until their turn and see if they if they Violent Outburst, I have to kill the grief. But if they just attack me for 19, I have to take 19. That's not a number that we should be very happy to hear about, but that's life. I don't think that we can do a lot of... Alright, so that's... It means 8 plus... Are we still dead no matter what we do here? Like, if I bolt grief, like, obviously that keeps us alive for right now. But I don't think that we... Like, I don't think there's anything we can top deck that's going to help us. The opponent would have to be really, like... They'd have to make some really poor choices in life here. And I don't see that happening. Okay. We go out on our own terms. Alright, well, Roiling Vortex is going to be fantastic because it's going to deal with all the free spells. This gets rid of, like, all the griefs that go to the graveyard. Like, I think... I don't know if this actually matters that much, though. They don't have, like, a lot of red creatures, so there's only there's like a couple black ones that it interacts with, but I don't think for the most part it matters that much. Searing Blaze is pretty useless overall, so we're going to take that out. Deflecting Palm is not the worst. We could actually have this. Because if they ever, like, do attack us with their board state, like, Deflecting Palm threatens to redirect some of that damage back their face. Do I need this? Is it possible that do we have to worry about, like, Leyline? I don't think so. Living End does not play white, I believe, so I don't think that they're going to be just gambling on mulliganing to Leyline. That doesn't seem likely. So my thinking is that these 2 Skullcracks are probably not that necessary. So these are, I could look at replacing them with something. They don't really gain a lot of life, I believe, so Deflecting Palm and Exquisite Firecraft could be a good replacement for these. I think that's fine. We'll do that. Yeah, because, like, Deflecting Palm and reflecting, like, 7 damage back at their face is ridiculous. This hand seems great. We have Goblin Guide and then into Vortex. Yeah, we're absolutely going to keep this. Or actually, we might want to suspend Riftbolt before we cast this thing. We're on the play, so we should have an opportunity to. I can Lava Spike them plus Riftbolt and then still get this Vortex out before they get 3 mana to actually cast Living End. I don't want to have to take 5 damage just to Riftbolt them. Well, or never mind. They're just going to go for it with grief anyway, so... Well, that's the other thing. Like, if they have grief, then we don't have to worry about it, because they're definitely 1,000% taking this card, because this is worth 5 damage. Like, there's no way they can't take this, right? It has to be this card. Like, they're not casting Living Ends with this on the board, so... This isn't really an option. Yeah, and, like, if they have grief, then they're going to do it on turn 1. Otherwise, like, if they don't do it on turn 1, then it means they don't have grief, so we don't have to worry about it. Actually, that's sort of okay. Well, they can't Living End like, next turn, so I think we should suspend Rift Bolt. Yeah, because there's nothing, I don't have to worry about anything, like, next turn, so... Then I can get in the damage from the Lava Spike and the Rift Bolt on the Prowess triggers. Curators on top, sure. And if I draw lands, I can do both of these. Get an extra Prowess trigger out. They might have Petty Theft here. Why does it have to spawn this window so far away from them? It's so annoying to have to click over that distance. Alright, well, I guess we're just suspending this other Rift Bolt. That's kind of fine, because it's mana efficient to do that. They could have Force. They might be debating Force of negating this Lava Spike. Which is not an unreasonable thing to consider here. If this connects, then we are in very good shape, because then Boros Charm threatens to kill them. Oh, that's good. That is fantastic. Alright, suspend. Alright, go ahead, opponent. They're at 4, so... Yeah, this Boros Charm is very lethal to them. We just have to make sure we cast it at the right moment, so... I guess, no, if they could just, no, if they have it, they're gonna get grief back and take it away. Well... Alright, so we need to top deck any burn spell. Any burn spell kills them. Even Searing Blaze... Well, no, I think we sided them out, right? Searing Blaze, yeah, that's not what we need here. So they're going to go to 1. So we just have to, like, a burn spell. That's it. We need them not to have Force of Negation. Alright. No, they had the Living End right away, so... Come on. Okay, well, if they didn't Force of Negate that, then that's... I guess I have to just cast it, even though I can't really, like, attack. Can potentially block for us, so... There could have been some value in just keeping it back, I guess, as a surprise, but... If we draw a land, then I need to crack the Sunbaked, probably. They're at 1, so they're a super danger zone right now. Interesting, okay. They keep back Shardless here. I don't think I block this, because if I draw another Goblin Guide, I am just going to play it and attack. Are they not going to... I don't think they're casting Living End. I think they're just trying to cast another blocker. Alright. We have to top deck a land right now. Or, I mean, no, we have to top deck a Bolt right now. Top deck Bolt. Let's go. Come on, deck. Alright, well, I guess we have one more chance to top deck Bolt. Fuck! No! We can't block enough stuff. Like, I can, yeah, like, no, we're actually just dead here. Alright, we lose. Alright, well, we tried. We got close versus them, but whatever. They had grief early to take the thing, and we had 2 draws to draw a lightning bolt, and we didn't draw it, but, I don't know. I mean, overall, it was like, I think it was a pretty successful league. Like, that's kind of how we expect things to go, so. Yeah, and it's kind of fortunate for them, too, that they were able to, you know, mitigate the damage from their lands, so. Because that could have been, you know, at one more point, like, it's a single fetch, like, would have just been enough to kill them, so. It's good. It gets really, really close here. I don't know, overall, this, like, looked pretty good. I don't like this Exquisite Firecraft could like literally be anything. It doesn't matter. In a scenario like that, if we have Deflecting Palm and we use it like there, it would actually cause the game to be a draw. So we would just have to replay another game. So funny stuff like that can sometimes happen with Palm. Yeah, I don't know. Like this list is like there's nothing particularly special about it. This is just how Burn is in Modern. So. I mean, it's a pretty fun deck. I enjoy playing it. And there is definitely, like, a certain appeal to playing it because it does, like, it is aided a lot by those super ridiculously greedy mana of Modern. So I like being able to punish people for it. And because fucking Blood Moon is not good enough. If like, a 4-color deck is going to play a main deck copy of Magus of the Moon, then you know Blood Moon is not a good enough hate for stuff. So. At least in, like, Legacy, we have cards like Price of Progress and Wasteland to, like, keep those mana bases in check. But I guess in Modern, for right now, we just have to rely on Lightning Bolt keeping the mana bases in check. So we're out here just doing, you know, policing with bolts. So, alright, well, that's our league for today. So, yeah, Burn's going to be a little bit shorter than Merfolk usually, but, you know, we got about an hour and a half, so... It's Christmas time. We have all of our red and white stuff. I thought about including like a copy of Atarka's Command so that we could play Naya, so we'd have the green too. But no, I don't think that is necessary. You could play it like, but I don't know that there's a lot that green's gonna offer Burn at the moment that you know we need. So Atarka's Command is basically just like playing Skullcrack most of the time. There are a few scenarios where if you have like Swiftspear where you can like put a +1/+1 counter on it and deal 3 damage, like sometimes like that has a slight advantage, but your life total, you're going to take a little bit more damage for it too. Be slightly more inconsistent in casting stuff like Sanctifier because you're going to have to get like a Stomping Grounds instead of a Sacred Foundry, so... yeah, alright, well, that's all we got for today. So, everybody, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you coming and supporting us. Maybe we'll play more Burn next week, because, like, it has been a while, and, like, I obviously do need the practice, because I did make a few mistakes today, for sure, so, we have to recognize this stuff and, like, call it out and learn when it is that we screw up, so that way we don't do it again in the future, so... You know, if we're playing double white cards like this that we side in, then we need to not fetch for basic mountain. Like, that's a big thing, so can learn from this. Alright, well, let's, I guess, take a look. Alright, you know what? Fluffy Wolf, I think, is playing some, a nice, it looks like maybe Prison? Karn Prison? Alright, so there's another, yeah, it has, like, Blood Moons in it, so it's gonna try to police these mana bases, so why not? Let's go check that out. But anyway, that is all I've got for tonight. So I really appreciate you guys all being here with me. I will be here again next week. And until then, take it easy. If you're watching the replay, please thumbs up. And that's all I got. So I'll see you next time.